Some nights are not just dark. They break something inside a human being. This was one of those nights, the night when the three of us were heading toward a place where even daylight is afraid to step. It was a deep, pitch-black night. Thick clouds had swallowed the sky, as if light itself had been imprisoned. An eerie silence surrounded us, so intense that the sound of our own breathing felt sharp against our ears. In the middle of that terrifying stillness, I, Baba Munya, and Bilal Bai moved forward into a deserted, lifeless area, a place where even the roads seemed to abandon those who walked upon them. Just a few steps ahead, an old, broken-down mansion emerged before our eyes. Its doors were half open, creaking with every gentle breath of wind, like the groan of something wounded and alive. The windows stared at us from the darkness, like hollow, lifeless eyes. The walls were stained with dampness, time, and the marks of forgotten curses. From the mansion itself, a cold, cursed wind crept toward us, sending chills through our bodies. The moment we stepped closer, everything changed. The air grew heavy. My heartbeat spiraled out of control, and suddenly, the silence shattered. Faint whispers, unknown voices. It felt as if someone had given sound to the darkness itself. Shadows began to move along the walls. Bricks and stones crashed down from the ceiling, slamming toward us with violent force. Dust filled the air, making it hard to breathe. It felt as though an unseen power was desperately trying to drive us away from that place. My body trembled with fear. The color drained from Bilal Bai's face. My heart pounded so violently. It felt like my chest would burst open. But Baba Munja, he stood completely still, strong, unshaken, unmoved. There was no fear in his eyes, only certainty. Slowly, he stepped forward and began reciting sacred words aloud. His voice echoed through the air. The ground began to shake. A strange vibration rippled through the atmosphere. From within the mansion, the hidden jinn began to scream. Heart-piercing cries filled every corner. The shadows shattered and scattered, and within the darkness, a faint wave of light began to emerge. This was not an easy battle. Every second was fear. Every step was a test. But against faith, determination, and spiritual power, those cursed forces slowly began to weaken. The screams faded. The darkness retreated. The air felt lighter, clearer. That was when we realized this mansion had been a dwelling of jinn, and now they had abandoned it. We survived. But that night was far from over. That night had already become the most terrifying night of our lives. That mansion still stands there today, silent, motionless. But whoever was there that night knows one truth. Behind silence, there is always something hiding, and some places never truly let a human go. This place is ours. You cannot stay here. These were not words. They were threats, floating through the air. The wind suddenly intensified. Curtains began to flap on their own, as if something was breathing in rage. Dust fell from the walls. The ceiling groaned under unseen pressure. But Baba Munja did not stop. His voice was now louder than ever, stronger than ever. Every word carried such power that the very foundation of the mansion began to shake. Suddenly, a horrifying scream echoed, a scream that struck straight into the heart. Ears rang, breath froze in the chest, and then silence. The wind stopped. The curtains fell still. The shadows vanished, as if they had never existed. The three of us stood there, staring at one another. It took time for our breathing to return to normal. The mansion was still abandoned, but that pressure, that weight, that fear, it was gone. Baba Munja spoke softly. There is no one here anymore. We took one last look at the mansion. It was still standing, but it felt empty. We turned back to leave. Yet deep down, the heart knew the truth. Some places never truly leave a human. We walked away from the mansion, but it felt as if the mansion had walked away with us. The path ahead was deserted. Tree branches swayed in the wind, as if they had turned into shadows, following us. I turned around. There was nothing behind us, but my heart refused to believe it. Baba Munja remained silent. This was not ordinary silence. It felt as if he was listening to a voice that we could not hear. Bilal Bai asked in a trembling voice, "Babaji, Is it really over? Baba Munja stopped. He looked up at the sky, where the clouds were racing chaotically. Then he said, "Jinn may leave a place, but they never leave without marks." The moment I heard this, a cold shiver ran down my spine, and at that very moment, a sound came from behind us. Sure, it sounded like fingernails scraping slowly across the ground. All three of us turned at the same time. The mansion? It was still there, but now there was no darkness behind its windows. Inside, a yellow, flickering light was burning. That same light, the kind that only exists in basements. The door began to tremble slowly. Creak, creak. Bilal Bai's hand started shaking. How is this possible? We already cleared this place. Baba Munja closed his eyes. For the first time, there was hardness in his voice. This is the final move. Suddenly, smoke rose from the ground. Black, thick, alive. Faces began forming within it, then twisting, then breaking apart. Their eyes were burning. Their mouths were opening. But the voice was only one. Come back. My feet began stepping backward on their own, as if someone else had taken control of my body. Baba Munja instantly drew a circle on the ground. He signaled us both to stand inside it, no matter what happens. He said, "Do not step outside the circle." Suddenly, the smoke began taking human form, and on its face, there was a smile. We thought the mansion had been emptied, but in reality, it was never emptied. It was sealed. Baba Munja had said only one thing: Jinn leave places, but they never leave without marks. And then, from the mansion's doorway, shadows did not emerge. A child did. In that moment, we realized this story was not ending here. It was beginning here. We believed everything was over, but the mansion had not ended. It had transformed into a door. When the girl's neck twisted 180 degrees in a single instant, Baba Munja said, "This is no longer prayer. This is judgment." Is free. The ground split open. The mansion vanished. But in its place, a new door stood, without walls. And when that door opened, we learned the truth. This was not a home of jinn. It was a world of spirits that had been imprisoned and forgotten. We stepped inside, and time stopped there. That door did not show us jinn. It showed us ourselves. Bilal Bai saw his dead father, and Baba Munja, he saw nothing, because he was looking at silence itself. That was the moment we understood. This door was not only a passage to another world, it was a path into the fear hidden inside a human being. And when Baba Munja said, "Every door demands a sacrifice," the light exploded, and he crossed to the other side. Forever, the mansion disappeared. The door vanished. But on the ground, a mark remained. Because the door was closed, but not completely, we believed. We had come chasing jinn. But in truth, this place was waiting for our fear. When the door closed, time stopped. And when time stopped, Baba Munja was left behind. Baba Munja turned back one last time and said, "My child, some doors are not meant to be closed. With some doors, someone has to go with them." The very next moment, light appeared and he vanished. From our world, the mansion was gone, but the door was alive. A door without walls, standing alone, and behind it, that world from which Baba Munja never returned. We did not imprison the jinn. We opened ourselves, and that door took a sacrifice. Baba Munja. The door was closed, but not completely, and the mark left on the ground. Even today, sometimes it breathes. That night, there were 3 of us, and in the end, only 2 remained. Because it is not the mansion, it is the door that decides who comes back. Baba Munja had deliberately left the final symbol incomplete, because if it had been completed, neither of us would have returned. That door was not for jinn. It was a passage to the fear hidden inside humans. And Baba Munja, he took that fear with him. Some sacrifices are not meant to be seen. They are only remembered. When the door closed, Baba Munja began to smile. And that was when we realized the game was not over. What we thought was a mansion was actually a lock. And Baba Munja became the key. Baba Munja didn't leave. He's just on the other side. And the door, it is still breathing. Every time I am alone, I feel like a door is opening inside me. We saw the door close, but we never saw when it opens from the other side. The silence wasn't there because everything had ended. The silence was there because something was listening. Baba Munja didn't close the door to save us. He turned himself into the door. We walked out of the mansion, but the mansion never left us. If that place was a prison for jinn, then think about it. Who was the jailer? Baba Munja said, "The door is closed." He never said, "It is safe." After that night, we were no longer afraid of jinn. We became afraid of our own memories. We thought the sacrifice was over, but the real price was yet to be paid. The shadows were not on the walls. They were breathing behind us. This was not a battle of power. It was a decision about who stays with whom. If you listen to this story until the end, remember, some doors open, even for the listener. Baba Munja never returned. Boo!